Good morning, everyone. It is 7:51 now and 5 degrees, the high later today. Dr. Julia Carroll is here. She's a dermatologist. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're talking sunscreen. Not all sunscreens are created equal.
No.
And also, there's just so much, you hear so many different things, and we'll get to all of them, whether it's the kinds of ingredients and how some are very toxic to people, the kind you have to use for babies, or the amount of SPF. Let's start there, where it has to be a minimum, or sometimes the maximum is just nonsense.
Right. So generally as a dermatologist, we recommend a 30 or higher. And there's a lot of controversy about people will come into my office and they say, well, I heard a 15 was the same as a 30, doc. Isn't that, why would I bother with a 30? So if you look at a 30, and those numbers only apply to UVB, they don't discuss at all the UVA that's getting in. If you look at a 15, you are getting still 7% of the UVB light. If you look at a 30, you are only getting 3%. So it cuts the amount of UVB by half. So there is a big difference.
And what about broad spectrums? Because we hear that talked about a lot, whether it's UVA, UVB. Should we be looking for something that covers both?
For sure. So right now the number doesn't address UVA, but what the sunscreen companies have done, and I don't know if you can show this one, but it has UVA, UVB broad spectrum on it. So that's what you want to look for. So you want to look for 30 on the bottle, UVA, UVB broad spectrum, and if you see this little logo here, which is the Canadian Dermatology Association, that goes a long way to letting you know it's a good sunscreen.
Now, I once read that when you put sunscreen on, if you rub it in too much, you've destroyed the effect of the sunscreen. But you can't go out there with this white coating of goo on you. If you're at the beach, you just sand sticks to you and you're like...
Yeah, so that's an excellent point. So the numbers are only true if you use the amount that you're supposed to use. And so that's really a shot glass size for the entire body. But often you do look a little white or a little cakey when you have that on.
Yeah.
So that's why I say go with a number that's a little bit higher, like a 60.
You can use less?
And then you're not going to use the right amount, and you may get a 30 out of it.
Now look, if you're like me...
Yes.
And you were raised lying on the beach every summer of your life for 14 or 15 years, just baking, right?
Yeah.
This stuff wasn't even around.
You ate was a good sunscreen.
Yeah. Is there any point in trying to help yourself after?
Sure, for
really?
sure. So the damage, some damage has been done for sure, and before your 20s is probably the peak time when we see the damage come up later on. But still, more damage can happen. So you want to protect yourself from here on in.
Melanoma, which is...
Melanoma is huge. So skin cancer is the most diagnosed cancer in Canada.
Wow.
What about ingredients in sunscreen? Are there some you want to avoid? Are there some that are preferable?
So there's two types of ingredients. There's the chemical ingredients and there's the physical ingredients. The physical are titanium and zinc. And those ones basically just shield you from the sun. That gives you that whitish sort of look. Although a lot of the ones that we've got here, they have those ingredients and they rub in quite well. The technology has come a long way. And then the chemical ingredients, what they do is the sun hits them and it converts them into heat, and then it dissipates the UV rays. So in Canada, we're very lucky because things are well regulated, and any of the ingredients you see are quite safe. So I don't have any concerns about the ingredients that are currently available in Canada.
But it should have this Canadian sticker on it.
I love that Canadian sticker. Not all of them have it, but that's a good place to start.
How often should we be wearing sunscreen? Because I know for myself, I wear it every day because I've had an issue in the past. But is it something that we should be thinking about on a daily basis?
Yeah, and one of the reasons is because, again, going back to that UVA, you're getting it through windows, through the car window. If you sit in an office and you're getting exposure, you're still getting that UVA.
I live in the basement. Am I okay?
Yeah, then you're fine.
That's a little better.
Put it on.
Tell me about, the SkinCeuticals. How does that work? Because that's not a sunscreen, right?
No, this is exciting. And so this came out of my own bag, so it's a little bit dirty. But so this is some new information that we've learned over the past probably few years. And if you combine a sunscreen with a topical vitamin C, and it has to be a stable topical vitamin C, then you're actually boosting the effectiveness of your sunscreen. And you're actually, when the sun hits and you're starting to do that DNA damage, this will instantly reverse that. So it's a great addition to a morning routine.
Wow.
A lot of dermatologists use that because it prevents aging, right? The CE for real.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you keep all of this information straight? I mean, when you're just wanting to, you're wanting to go to the beach or it's a summer day.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people try a couple of things. So you want to look for that 30 or higher, and you want to look for UVA, UVB broad spectrum, and then after that you can see all the different things. There's mousses, there's sticks, there's water sprays.
30 or higher. Well, then why are people selling 15? Who's that for?
Price the price point, probably.
And some people don't.
Still want to get
If you've got kids, and I mean, it says waterproof, but your kids are in and out of the water all the time. How waterproof really is
You're
it?
going to see that language changing. So I just came back from a big dermatology conference in San Diego, and in the U.S. they're throwing a lot of that terminology out the window, and Canada will follow soon. And you're going to see words like water resistant and sweat resistant, but the words proof will be gone.
Right.
So if you sweat, if you get wet, you need to reapply.
Wow.
Dr. Julia Carroll, she's a dermatologist. Thank you so much for the information.
Thanks for the opportunity.
We're going to take a break. It's coming up to 8 o'clock. We'll have an update on your headlines and your forecast in just a moment.
And isn't it